Hello, dear Convo friends. Happy Friday. This afternoon, I've got three prompting tips for conversation designers on how to make ChatGPT more conversational. Because let's face it, we conversation designers, we spend considerable time and effort in designing conversational user interfaces that are truly helpful, that are easy to use, that are natural and engaging. And in barges ChatGPT, and well, let me give you an example of a very classic customer question. I've lost my bank card. As you can see immediately, like the first two words, I'm like, no, you're not sorry. You can't be sorry. We all know that, right? Don't. And that what follows is content which in itself is not bad. I mean, it's definitely good advice. It's not specific, but that's not something we can solve with prompting. For that, you probably need something like retrieval augmented generation or an API call to your own bank systems. But conversational copy wise, of course, this is not something that I would design for my chatbots or conversational interfaces. It's a very long chunk of text. It's literally like a brick. It doesn't personalize anything. There's nothing to drive the user onwards in the conversation. It's not very engaging. It's literally like an FAQ bot, right? One question, one answer, and that's it. Well, the good news is that there is something we can do. And for that, and that is tip number one for today, you actually need to ditch ChatGPT and move to the OpenAI playground instead. And this is a difference that's quite important to realize that ChatGPT is not the large language model. ChatGPT is a consumer app built on top of the large language model, and as such, there's not a lot of things you can influence in ChatGPT. Of course, you've got your custom instructions, but I find them quite limited because there's no manual tweaking of a lot of settings that I want to tweak. So instead of using ChatGPT, move to the OpenAI playground, which looks like this. And what this gives you is a lot of settings here on the right hand side, which you can tweak. I won't discuss them in this video, other than probably kind of, no, that's fine. The maximum length of the response window to make sure that ChatGPT, sorry, the large language model doesn't cut off the response mid sentence. I have increased the size of the response window a little bit. But most importantly, what the playground gives you is this field over here, which is called system. And if you've attended any of my talks, you'll probably recognize this as the system prompt. And I put a lot of stress on designing a robust system prompt for any kind of Gen AI application, because this is where you define the global behavior of your LLM chatbot. Um, when you start the OpenAI playground, there's a default prompt because that's what we do here. This is prompting. You are a helpful assistant. Over here, you've got your messages window. You can see a little user turning up here. If I say hi and I submit, the assistant returns a hello, how can I assist you today? And this together is what I call your proto prompt. It's the hello world of prompting. A very basic global instruction, a very basic question, and a very basic what we call completion. Because it's not an answer that's returned here, it's actually a completion of this sentence over here. Because when I say the apple doesn't drop far from the, you say tree, right? And tree is the completion of that sentence. And here, hello is the completion of hi. And for the conversational analyst in this audience, that's interesting because these are actually adjacency pairs in conversation. Oh, is my camera? Yeah, I'm in focus, I hope. So this is of course not very helpful. You're a helpful assistant, yeah, anything but, because we don't know what it's helpful about, we don't know the domain, we don't know what it can do, right? Well, that's tip number two. What you can do in your system prompt is actually refine that role of your assistant and make it a bit more specific to the task at hand. So to make it more specific, I've got a little example for you. Let me give that for you. You're Pebbles, an expert in conversation design. You know everything about what makes a great conversational user interface. And this is really interesting because research has shown that designing a persona, if you will, because that's what this is, that has an expert role will actually result in higher quality answer generation. So there will be more detail, there will be better quality answers, if you will. So that's interesting. What I do think, let's see, let me just move myself a little bit here. Let's get rid of this turn. Just a question for you. When I say hi here, what do you think happens now that we've got pebbles? Okay, you got your answer? Let's see if you got it right. Actually, nothing happens because Pebbles, the expert in conversation design, primes the large language model for okay, your topic is going to be conversation design, but it doesn't tell you anything about the interaction model. How does the bot talk to the user? And for that, and that is tip number 3, we can also prompt for behavior. So let's add some more to this prompt. I use forward slash to kind of delimit the different parts of the prompt. It doesn't really matter what kind of delimiters you use. Some people use like 3 upticks. As long as you do it, structure really helps in for the large language model to kind of parse the prompt, if you will. So what I've done here is actually incorporated some of the rules that we conversation designers also use for, writing a welcome message. Welcome the user, state that you're not human, tell them 3 things you can do, and prompt for a question. So let's see what happens now. Okay, hello, welcome to our conversational interface. I'm Pebbles, your AI assistant. Just to let you know, I'm not human, but I'm here to assist you. Here are 3 things that I can do for you. Well, it's got like the gist of a welcome message, right? But it's still quite long and not very conversational. And well, I guess you get the gist now, right? You can also prompt to be kind of concise and conversational. So let's start with the conciseness. And here's another little element for our prompt. This is still behavior, right? Your answers are brief with a maximum of 2 sentences. Well, that's much better, isn't it? Hello, I'm Pebbles, your friendly conversation design expert. I'm here to assist you. I'm not human, but I can answer your questions, provide guidance on conversational user interfaces, and offer tips for improving user experiences. How can I help you today? I would give that a pass for sure in any test. So you see, you can actually kind of build up this little prompt to make it more conversational and to kind of, you can literally tell it the rules. How much fun is that? What's another interesting thing is, let's see, let's ask it something about conversation design. What makes a good welcome message? I don't know. For a bot? Okay, it should be concise, friendly, clearly indicate the bot's purpose and capabilities. You should also set right expectations for the user. It's not literally what we would say, like, the 3 elements of the message. But again, that's not something we can prompt for, but that's something we can do RAG for. But I mean, it's okay. It's not too bad. Um, there's a few things missing here though, because we're stuck at a dead end again, right? There's no continuation from this uh, assistant turn into the user turn. What we can do there is again ask for it, prompt for it. Just give a little, a little instruction. That was my, no, not that one. This one. Just a second while I take a look at my prompt cheat sheet. Always end your message with a question to drive the conversation onwards. Okay, now what does that do? Menu of options. Okay, it's got some different content now. That's interesting. Um, and an open-ended question to encourage user engagement. Cool. Do you have any specific ideas in mind for your bot's welcome message? Now, this is interesting. I really like this prompting behavior and what it does with the LLM, because I do find that especially this instruction where I say, okay, engage the user in a conversation, basically, results in really nice continuators. Whereas a typical customer support bot usually kind of says something like, hey, is there anything else you'd like to know? Anything else I can help you with? This is actually a topic starter, right? So that's interesting, I find. I really like that. Let's see how well it does on non-conversational topics. So let's ask something like, what's the best soccer team in the world? Well, Well, as you can see here, it's not very prone to staying on topic, right? But again, we didn't prompt for that. So it kind of wanders off into the world of soccer, which is okay, I guess. But hey, you're supposed to be an expert in conversation design, Pebbles, and besides, you're a cat, you don't do soccer. So again, you can probably see it coming already. We can just prompt for staying on topic with something like this. If the user asks something that's not related to conversation design, gently but resolutely guide them back to the topic of conversation design. And let's try this question again. That's an interesting question, but let's bring the conversation back to conversation design. And there's all kinds of flavors that you can add, of course, because this is still very dry. We could even prompt for something like, I don't know, if the user asks something that's not related to conversation design, make a funny joke about their topic and gently but resolutely guide them back. Let's see what that does. Why did the soccer ball go to the stadium early? Because it wanted to get a good seat for the match. Okay, I mean, humor is probably something we need to prompt for a bit as well. But hey, it is doing what I told it to do. It kind of makes a lame joke and goes back to the topic of conversation design. So, yeah, this is basically what I wanted to share with you. I hope you found it useful. And I would love to see your own system prompts and what you prompt your LLM to do and to be. So, just a small recap. Tip number one, ditch ChatGPT and go for the playground instead. Tip number two, make your system role more specific and give it an expert role. Tip number three is prompt for behavior, because, yeah, it's basically like a block of marble and we're chipping away until we get the bot that we want. Chipping away on behavior, chipping away on domain, chipping away on interaction models, and chipping away on persona. And I guess that prompt chipper, that's probably what I'm doing right now. Again, have a wonderful weekend, enjoy prompting, and see you soon. Groetjes!